Okay, students, we're here on the second day of Trig. So before we get started, I highly recommend that you download this app. See this calculator app down here? It's at like TI-84 or whatever. It's really going to help us use Trig. Alright, I really don't like Apple's and iPhones, whatever you want to call it, their calculator app. It just doesn't work good for me. So that's what the icon looks like. Alright, so getting started, let's see if I can make that just a tad smaller for now. We're not quite using the calculator. But how do I know which trig function to use? Remember, we have sine, cosine, tangent, so on and so forth. So to help you students remember which trig function to use and when to use it, I made up a word. I made up SOHCAHTOA. Alright? It took me a long time to make up this word, but I made it up just for you guys. So you use sine when you have the opposite side and the hypotenuse. You use cosine when you use the adjacent side and hypotenuse. And then use tangent when you're given the opposite and adjacent sides. Alright, so color coordinated it, made up a word. Sine is opposite hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. Alright, and then let's just draw a quick picture too. We got this angle here, that's right angle, theta. If that's theta, well, it doesn't matter which one's theta. Hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse. Alright, opposite side does not touch the angle, and then we have adjacent. Alright, so there's two punchlines what trig is great for. One, you can find missing sides of a triangle, and two, you can find missing angles of a triangle. It just depends on what information you have and what information you need to find. Alright, so before we even get, or let's just dive into this problem. Alright, so this is the punchline. This is what we're going to be doing for the next few days. Alright, we have this angle, angle 31. So yesterday it was angle A or theta, whatever. Now we actually have an angle. With respects to this angle, we have the adjacent side and we have the opposite side. So I can say which trig function has adjacent and opposite. Well, that's tangent. Alright, that's the TOA and SOHCAHTOA. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write tan 31 equals 17 over x. Alright, so this looks goofy. We've never seen this before. On my calculator, I want you to do this. First off, mode. See how I'm in degrees? There's radians, there's degrees. See what I'm flopping back and forth? We want to make sure we're in degrees. Radians is something you'll talk about in future math classes. We want degrees. Alright, so I'm in degrees. Watch this. What's tan 31? It's very weird. These just output some number, some crazy decimal. In this case, it's 0.6008606190028. In fact, that decimal would keep going on. So you got to realize, once you can accept this as fact, that tan 31, it's just some number. Alright, now we got these calculators that tell us exactly what that number was. My parents, probably your parents, old people, they had to use a trig table. Alright, they actually had to use a piece of paper and a table, and it was no fun. So we're going to solve for x. I'm going to put this over 1. Tan 31 is just some number, and I'm just going to cross multiply. I'm going to write x tan 31. It's a good habit to have your variable out front. It just looks better, easier to deal with. 17. Alright, now tan 31 is just some number, so to get x by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by tan 1031. Alright, so in this case right here, I'm going to write in my calculator, let's see, clear, I'm going to do 17 divided by tan 31, close parentheses, enter, and it's 28.3. Alright, so we absolutely need calculators when we do trig. Alright, I'm a freaking genius and I had no idea what tan 31 was, or 17 divided by tan 31. So what's nice about trig is, imagine that like you're building a roof. Alright, this is a roof. You know your roof needs to be 17 feet high. You know you want the slant of the roof to be 31 degrees. Well, how long will your roof be? Well, it's going to be 28.3 feet. Alright, so that's what's powerful about trig, is that when you have an angle, you know one side, you can find the other sides. Alright, so that's just one problem. Let's progress on to more problems. Alright, again, trig's a little goofy at first. Hopefully you're starting to feel better from yesterday to today, so on and so forth. The more we practice, the better it will get. Alright, it's all about the given angle. With respect to this angle, we have the adjacent side and always the hypotenuse. So which one uses A and H? Alright, well that's going to be cosine. That's the ka in SOHCAHTOA. Alright, so we're going to use cosine of 32. This is going to be x over 20. So again, cosine of 32 is just some number. It's about 0.848048096,156, so on and so forth. Alright, we set up this trig function. If I put it over 1, it kind of sparks some thoughts in your guys' brain where we can cross multiply. I'm going to get x equals 20 cosine 32. Technically, probably a good habit to put parentheses around the degrees. Alright, what's nice about this one right here is I can just do 20 cosine 32, plug that all into a calculator, nice looking easy, and x equals 16.9. Actually, I probably can see it, 16.96. We'll do another decimal. Very close to 17. And that's it. That's the punchline. So, given a right triangle, if you know the hypotenuse and the angle measure, you can find the adjacent side using cosine. Alright, and trig only works for right triangles, this kind of trig. Alright, let's see. We got a lot of problems. We'll do one more. We'll just do one more problem for this video. Alright, now we got the reference angle here, 65. Now the hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse, it's opposite the right angle. And then 17 is the opposite side. So you guys probably could have guessed that we're doing sine this time. It's the one we haven't done yet. Sine is the one that deals with opposite and hypotenuse. So I'm going to write sine 65 equals opposite 17 over hypotenuse x. Okay, sine 65, it's just some number. I have no freaking clue what that number is, but I'm going to treat it like a number, and then I'm going to solve for x. Cross multiply x sine 65 equals 17. Divide both sides by 65. And then again, you guys need a calculator. Whatever calculator you're using, make sure it's set to degrees. I need a calculator for this. If I need a calculator for this, you need a calculator for this. The only person that can do this stuff in his head is Mr. DeShetler himself. And that's it. Alright. So hopefully trig is feeling a little bit better for you guys. It still might be a little bit awkward. Once we practice it, you guys will get really good at it. You just have to give it some time. Hopefully you guys are starting to feel good already. If not, look at all these problems we still get to do. Alright, stay tuned for the next videos.